All right. That only took about 20 minutes longer than it should have, but I guess that's okay. Waiting on a couple of my peeps, then I'll get to yakking. Hello. They didn't hear that I was buying lunch for the first person to comment on the stream. They just missed out. Matt and Dalton said they would be here. They they don't know what they're talking about. So since you're first one here, babe, so allegedly you're playing like you have, or you're drafting like you're playing with one hand tied behind your back. So they have you projected 0 and 15. Well, at least last year when they had me at the bottom, they said I would win one game. So at least they're giving you something. There's Matthew in and out. I'll have to take a rain check, babe, because I think Vegas might be Vegas might be our best option. I know they're building the one in Lebanon, but I don't know if it'll be ready by the time we'll go to Vegas. So anyway, so Matt just same song, different verse. Was getting ready to run through Ashley's and noticed you got the best draft grade out of everybody with a big fat A plus. So we'll get to you in a minute. First A plus Matt's ever got. So they're projecting Ashley to go 0 and 15. Um, they said her best draft pick was AJ Brown. Her worst draft pick was Jalen Waddle. Yeah, terrible pick, babe. Just absolutely horrible. So I did a little digging on this, and I'm going to pull this graph up here. I think I shared this with Dalton earlier today while we were sweating our balls off in that godforsaken trailer. Um, so you see all the bars that are going down. That is in reference to where a player was taken in relationship to Yahoo's average draft position. Okay. So that includes all the public leagues, all the leagues like ours. It includes expert leagues. It includes people that get on there, sign up, auto draft every team they ever do, all of it. So all this is in reference to, and these quote rankings, the only thing it references is where you draft your players in relationship to where Yahoo had them ranked. Okay. So for Ashley example, you see all of the bars going down. That means she took a player X number of positions before Yahoo thought they should be drafted. Well, this also includes 12 team, 14 league teams that some of these guys go in the fifth round where we're taking them in the eighth, ninth, 10th round. So uh, if you're gonna, we're going to look at a roster, but 0 and 15 is what they have her projected to go. 0 and 15. They think I'm going to win 3 games. and then there's a big clump there between. And I guarantee you, Jordan, when he sees this, he's going to go, "Man, there's no way." Um, so 4 teams separated by 2 wins, and then apparently Matt, you and that little pygmy Chewbacca are just going to run roughshod over everybody. So, um, yeah. Anyway, so let's look. Let's look what an 0-15 roster looks like, y'all. So I'll just look at starters. So Ashley's got Bo Nix, Drake London, AJ Brown, and we'll throw Jackson Smith and Jigba in there. So those are her 3 receivers. Jameer Gibbs, O'Marion Hampton, and Tucker Kraft. So that's what an 0-15 fantasy team looks like. I would dare say that this fantasy team probably won a league last year. This semblance of people probably won a fantasy league last year. Um, and then just loaded up on. I mean, there's not a single bench player on her team. One could argue Charbonnet and Dobbins, but everybody else is at least starting or very heavily involved in the offense. So I'm. It's kind of ridiculous that that's where we're at with these evaluations. But Matt, no, you did not. Did you seriously take Rogers? I was driving. I had to go pick up Jaron from his football scrimmage, so I was driving and making my last whenever Brady went auto draft, that's when I started. That's when I went to pick up Jaron. I made my picks and then I left. Um, did you seriously take Aaron Rodgers? And I apologize. There's a delay when you guys comment. It takes it a few seconds before I actually see it. Matt's too embarrassed to answer me. I'm gonna go look. I quit. That's it. I'm out. Dalton, did we have that bet going? Matt, what is wrong with you? Judging by your pick a lot. So I'm gonna go back to Ashley for real quick for a minute. Um, so maybe not. Maybe Nick's sitting like that top 5. That kind of line of demarcation with Lamar and Josh and Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Maybe that's kind of that line where if you don't get one of those guys, then you might as well wait. But let me share something with you, and you can go back and kind of look at the stats. Well, you don't have to. I can do it right here. Um, just give me a second. Oh, it's not going to show them to me. Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, you guys can do the research on this. So the difference between the number 1 quarterback last year and the number 12 quarterback last year was about 50 some odd points. Divided by 17. So even with all the rushing yards that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen racked up, there was still only 50 to 60 points difference between the number 1 quarterback and the number 12 quarterback. So that's why I don't particularly value quarterback that highly. And that's another thing that the rankings don't take into consideration. So you guys sat here and watched me last night and tonight, both nights, both drafts, take Dak Prescott in like the foreverth round, right? Well, Dak's got two stud receivers. There's no running game in Dallas to speak of at all. He's going to be throwing probably 50 times a game. He's going to throw a couple picks a game. If you're going to make a bet week to week, you can bet Dak Prescott to throw an interception and you'll cash 75-80% of the time. But there's not going to be that much difference between Dak and Lamar, Josh, Daniels, Jalen, Joe. I mean, right down the list. There's the point differential is not going to be that much. Obviously, with Lamar and Josh and Jalen's legs, and we know tush push, we know Jalen's going to get his rushing touchdowns. Outside of that, they're all pretty similar. I'm not going to say all the same because we know that's not true, but they're all pretty similar. So that's why I just don't make quarterback a priority. So whenever that first quarterback comes off the board and then the second and the third quarterback comes off the board, unless I'm sitting there like I did last night with Jaden Daniels, and I didn't really want to take a quarterback, but he was sitting there, and based on my draft rules, if one of those guys is there at the fifth, sixth pick, I'm going to take him. That's the only reason I did it last night. I would have done the same thing I did tonight, not taking anybody until I took Dak in the 12th, 13th round, whatever it was. So anyway, that's my little soapbox on that deal. But it sure as hell wouldn't have been Aaron Rodgers, Matt. I know you did it out of spite, just to not piss me and Dalton off, but just to prove us right in this case. Oh, there you go, Matt. If you draft Rodgers, you're in the manhole all next week. So I would get excited about that. You would be. Anyways, all right. So let's take a look at Dalton's team, because me and Dalton, we led the thing off last night, and then tonight we end up bringing up the rear. So let's just look at draft results, so that way we can look at his team and when he took who he took. So all the way down here at the bottom. So Dalton, you went wide receiver, running back, tight end. So you got a stud receiver, a stud running back, and a stud tight end right out of the gate. Then picked up Higgins. It's pretty good pick. Jamar Chase historically does not get hurt. Higgins has missed a little bit of time over the last couple years, but he's playing for a contract for somebody this year, whether that's the Bengals, even though I don't think they can afford to pay him, or it's somebody else. He's playing for money. So I think Higgins is going to be – I think he's going to be really strong this year. And if for some reason Jamar Chase gets hurt, God forbid, then Higgins is going to blow up. Then Kenneth Walker, of course, that's a good pick there. Mike Evans, Mr. 1,000 yards. David Montgomery. You got some aging running backs, I'll say, Dalton. Montgomery, and then a couple good receivers there. Then Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon. Who I had both last year and did great. So hopefully they do well this year. Mixon's a little dinged up right now, but supposedly he's going to be okay by first game. And Aaron Jones just turned, I think, 31 or is about to turn 32. I know he's getting a little older, but still solid guys. And then, see, you waited till the 12th round to take a quarterback and got Brock Purdy, and then followed that right back up with Pearsall. So you got a stack right there. That was a good play. Evan Ingram, who I may or may not have taken had he still been there. When I got Ferguson, we're sitting right there next to each other. That's cool. And then kind of rounded it out. I'm surprised I actually let you draft C.J. Stroud. I quite expected that to for him to show up on her team. Not excited about your running backs. Well, I mean, when you look at sorry, I hope this scrolling on the screen is not like devastating for your eyes, y'all. If I go too fast, me looking at it does. Well, Henry and Walker, obviously, two workhorses. Derrick Henry is just a freak, man. He's 32 years old, and he shows no signs of slowing down. Dude ran almost for 2,000 yards last year. It, he just defies everything. Jones and Mixon, I mean, as long as they stay healthy, man, you're going to get good production out of them, especially Mixon. I think Jones has got a little more competition with Jordan Mason there. Um, Minnesota struggled mightily in the red zone last year. They could not run the football inside the 5. And that's one of the main reasons that they brought Jordan Mason in, because everybody remembers how he tore it up last year when McCaffrey was out until he got hurt himself. Excuse me. So that's kind of the plan. But if they struggle with that again this year, I don't know that it'll always be Mason inside the 5. And certainly Aaron Jones still got some gas in the tank. So it's not terrible, but I know what you're saying. Probably would have liked to had one more big name running back there on the bench instead of guys that have to split time. That's understandable. Man, Matt, I'm going to say I think Henry's better than Jerome Bettis, and I remember drafting Bettis in the '90s in the Steelers. Big Ben, Jerome Bettis, and all that heyday. I can't recall a running back with the longevity and consistency that Derrick Henry's had, because that dude is still just an absolute freak. Anybody that's 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds and can run 4.4. I mean, he runs away from DBs 60, 70, 80 yards down the field, and they can't catch him. I mean, if a 190-pound cornerback catches him, what's he going to do with him? Jump on his back, go for a ride? Because that's what's going to happen. It's unreal. All right. Going to look at Ashley H's. Is Ashley C in the chat? Go back to results. Is your better half listening, Dalton? Because I want to make sure I get her team covered. All right, so my Ashley. So Jahmyr Gibbs, no brainer, and then 3 alpha wide receivers. Drake London. I'm a huge Drake London fan this year. I liked him last year. The whole Kirk Cousins thing just didn't. It just didn't work. I mean, whatever it was, it just didn't work. But London he's a dog. AJ Brown, the best wide receiver on the best roster in football. No brainer. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, who, DK Metcalf's gone. He went to play with Matt's buddy there in Pittsburgh. So 3 alpha wide receivers. That's, so the first 4 players that Ashley took were just monsters. Then Omarion Hampton, who's going to be the starter with the Chargers. And I know Najee's there, but Najee is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, he averages under 4 yards a carry. I mean, Jaylen Warren in Pittsburgh last year averaged almost 5.5. I just never understood why they were so committed to Najee in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's big. He's not Derrick Henry big, but he's big. but he just doesn't have breakaway speed. He's okay receiver, but I'm telling you, man, go back and look at University of North Carolina last year. Look at Omarion Hampton's stats. Dude's a hoss. Then Jalen Waddle was just sitting there, so she grabbed him. Then got DeAndre Swift, who, I mean, the Bears. Matt, I know you. That's your second favorite team behind the Packers. Swift still got some legs, and man, Caleb Williams is going to throw the ball 50 times a game. You better believe that Swift's going to get some checkdowns. So great pick there. Travion Henderson, rookie out of New England. He may have to split time a little bit with Ramondre Stevenson, but I promise you, the first time that Stevenson puts the ball on the ground, Gerard Mayo kind of tolerated it. I'm telling you right now, Mike Vrabel will not. You don't put the ball on the ground with Mike Vrabel. So Travion Henderson there is sneaky good pick. A little overvalued according to Yahoo, but great pick. Same with Tet McMillan, another rookie. So back-to-back rookies. She's throwing the dice a little bit, but I think it pays off. Then Adunze, we already talked about Chicago throwing the ball a mile a game. Then another quarterback taken at 11, Bo Nix. So very smart to wait. Then I told Ashley that you were going to be mad at her because you took Tucker Kraft away from him. And she had this kind of look on her face that she didn't care and she reached for a shank. I don't know what that's all about, but for what it's worth. And then she rounded out with, probably arguably one of the best handcuff backup running backs in Charbonnet. Somebody's got to catch the ball in Buffalo. I mean, I cannot believe that Khalil Shakir lasted until the 15th round because he's the number one receiver in Buffalo. Josh Allen's got to throw it to somebody. He can't throw it to Dalton Kincaid 50 times. So really solid draft. And then her last pick was Cam Little, and she found a cool little known fact. Cam Little's never missed a field goal in his career. He's a kid that kicked a 70-yarder the other day in the preseason game. He's never missed a field goal in his career. So there's Ashley C. So again, if that's an 0-15 team, then I just need to retire from playing fantasy football because I certainly don't know what I'm talking about. She changed her name again. Did you draft? Oh, you did. You did draft Jalen Hurts all the way up there in the 6th round. I see him now. She threw me off last night because from the time she drafted until the time we kind of looked through, did the recap, she changed her name on me and I couldn't find her team. She did it again. I'm going to leave that one alone. Y'all can read good as I can. So CeeDee Lamb and Puka Nacua started off with two clear number one receivers for their respective teams. Big fan of CD this year. I don't know if you caught it, Ashley, at the beginning, but Dallas running back room is terrible. They couldn't run the football last year. They're not going to be able to run the football this year. So everything they do on offense outside of some goal line stuff and maybe some little wheel routes or something to one of the 3 running backs, it's all going to be in the air. And you better believe that CD is going to be the biggest beneficiary of that. So, I mean, CeeDee Lamb easily could. I mean, I'm talking like y'all. And I mean, this is recorded. This is live and is being recorded and it'll be published. I'm going on and saying this. CeeDee Lamb may be the number one receiver in fantasy this year. I actually believe that. Just simply because of the target volume that he's going to get. And he's tough to deal with. So very much stud, top tier wide receiver. Puka, I stayed away from Puka and Devontae Adams both. Matt, sorry. Matthew Stafford's having some back issues. Matthew Stafford's 37, will be 38 years old. He's had back problems before. Had him when he was in Detroit. Flared up a little bit. Well, now it's flared up again. So I kind of don't. I didn't really want anything to do with anybody on the Rams other than Kyron Williams, because if the rest of the team goes to hell and the wheels fall off, I know Kyron's going to be consistent. So I know it's probably not what you want to hear about your number 2 pick. Um, that's just the reality. You two, there's something about the Ashleys. Me and Dalton talk about this all the time. Um, there's just something with Ashleys. I don't know what it is. So it's hilarious though. I love it. Then back to back running backs: Brees Hall, Chuba Hubbard. No questions there. Laporta might be a little higher, girl. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Detroit. So between Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, the two-headed monster in Gibbs and Montgomery. So, but there are people, I will say, there are people that probably are smarter than me. They sure as hell make more money than I do doing this. So they think Laporta is going to look more like his rookie year this year versus last year. So that could be a huge payoff, or it could be a dud. So we'll see. You can't ever argue Jalen Hurts, and any of those guys outside the 5th round probably is great value. Hayden got a little trigger happy and took Lamar Jackson in the 4th, but that's fine. DJ Moore, with Keenan Allen gone, he's going to be the number 1. I think it's 1A, and then for Moore, and 1B for Roma Dunze. I think both those guys are going to see probably at least 100 targets, and could very well have 2 guys on this team go over 100 catches. I mean, that's no joke. They're going to throw the ball that much. Excuse me. Caleb Johnson, you sure about that? He's not the starter. Going to take a Jalen Warren injury, I think, for Johnson to see significant playing time. But he was a beast at Iowa, so we know he's capable. This is where we got to talk. Couldn't resist. Hey, look, I understand. I've got guys like that too, because you look at my draft grade and they're saying, you took him too early. You took him too early. You took him 3 rounds too early. Harrison Butker in the 9th round? Really? Oh, Lord. There's 2 kinds of people in this world now after this past offseason. Those that love Harrison Butker and those that wish he would end up on the bottom side of a dump truck. So you obviously are of the first persuasion, that you love Harrison Butker so much you took him in the 9th round. And then Debo, this one's tricky for me, because obviously he was, in San Francisco, was kind of the man for several seasons. No, they didn't. Are you serious? Oh, dear God. You know who it was? I'll have to look it up, because I gotta torch him for that. Anyway, talking about Debo, so don't really know what it's going to look like in Pittsburgh, because no, you didn't, Matt. Please tell me you're kidding. Anyway, so they use Debo quite a bit in the running game, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like in Pittsburgh. And I don't necessarily think that you draft him for or don't draft him for that reason. He's a wide receiver. That's his primary, and he's a big body, goal line kind of guy, go up and get the ball. So on paper, it can work. There's 2 things I'm worried about with Debo. And I love Debo. I'm a Niners fan. I've loved Debo since jump. But one, he's put on a little bit of weight. He's gotten a little fat. And two, he's got Aaron Rodgers for his quarterback. I just don't know. So I hope that works out. I hope it's not like 800 yards and 4 touchdowns kind of thing. I don't think it'll be that drastic, but I also don't see him going much past 1,000 and 6 to 8 touchdowns because they're going to run the ball a bunch, and he may be part of that. So he may line up back there inside the 5 and get a handful of rushing touchdowns. And if he does, you're going to look like a genius. And then Denver. I mean, if you're going to take a defense early, and I think 11 is early, but if you're going to take a defense, that's the one to take because they're lights out. In fact, that whole AFC West, other than the Raiders, they're better, but they're still not on the level of the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos. My goodness, that's just a wealth of great talent there. And then after that, definitely some flyers. And I think you went auto draft for a few picks, which is, fine. But we'll point out Cooper Kupp, I think, is a good pick. I don't think he's done. Tyler Algier, good handcuff for Bijan in case he goes down. And then I was going to take him, but I passed, and you took him, I think, right after that, pick or two after that. Luther Burden, the guy from Missouri that, he just looks like a wide receiver one. He's going to see the field even as a rookie, 3 wide receiver sets, or, they go empty backfield. He's going to be on the field. If DJ or Roma get hurt, that could be a absolute steal. So Ashley C was drinking margaritas and had to drive home while drafting. I had to draft and drive when I had to go get Jaron from a football scrimmage. You're not happy with your picks either. Well, if I took a kicker that early, neither would I. I'm just kidding. Matt, there's a lot of crap shooting picks for me after missing the first 7 rounds. Oh, really, Mr. A+? A lot of crap shooting going on there. Yeah, babe, maybe. I don't know. You back-to-back D grade picks, just like me. Maybe we need to try that next year. Maybe we just need to get plastered and pick players. Can't be any worse than what Brady does. Okay, so who do I need to go through? Is there anybody's team you want me to go through? Tell me that. Oh, I need to go through. I need to go through Matt's team. Matt, I apologize. Explain to why Matt is a dummy for drafting a kicker so early. The difference in kickers from the high scoring kicker to, let's say, because we have 8 teams in our league, let's say if there's even 10 and everybody had 2 kickers, 20. So from the first kicker to the 20th kicker, there's about 30 points difference. Now, obviously, you've got 2 schools of thought there. You've got a team that's high scoring, like Dallas is going to be, Philly, of course, Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit. So high scoring, more opportunities for points. Well, then there's also the flip side of the teams that just flat suck, that all they can do is kick field goals. So that's why you may see a Harrison Butker or what used to be a Justin Tucker, now Tyler Loop. Aubrey for Dallas versus the kicker for the Jets, the Giants, the Panthers, the Saints. It all kind of balances out. So for me, I really don't care. I'll take whatever kicker's there because they're all the same. And I hate kickers. They're just not, they just don't make a big enough impact on your team to burn a pick sooner than the back third of the draft or 25% of the draft. 20-round draft, I would even consider a kicker till the 15th, 16th round. And it better be a hell of a kicker for me to take them then. Because they just don't impact your team enough. And taking a kicker at 9 or the 9th round or 10th round, look at how many. Well, let's do it. Let's go back to the draft results. And let's look at the 9th round. Is that where the kicker went? Where did Matt take a kicker? Matt, where did you take a kicker? I don't see a kicker until the 9th round. Am I missing it? I will check on Brady here in a minute, babe. All right. Well, I'm not sure. So this is 9th round. So Ashley took. Oh no, it was Matt. Yeah, in the same round. That's why I missed it. I was looking over here. So, okay, Matt, Ashley, you're off the hook. Matt, what are you doing? Please tell me that was an auto pick. Please. Somebody wake Matt up. I need to understand this. I could see taking Brandon Aubrey or Will Lutz. I beg to differ your explanation. Enlighten me. But you don't even have to go deep into it. Tell me why Chris Boswell in the 9th round. So you took a kicker over Travis Kelce. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starting running backs taken after both those kickers, actually. I'm not saying that they're not good kickers. And Matt, you could be dead nuts on it because Rodgers is probably going to move the ball between the 20s. I don't disagree. A whole bunch of opportunities for Boswell. I know why Ashley took Harrison Butker. And she's probably mad at Hayden for taking Travis Kelce there right before. But Matt has to be Jeremy's apprentice next week for drafting a kicker so early. Points are close for a whole season. I've won games by a kicker head to head. Boswell because Rodgers sucks in the red zone. Perfect. That's what I just said. He can move the ball between the 20s. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You can prove me wrong. Both of you can prove me wrong that you shouldn't take a kicker that early. I am more than man enough to admit when I'm wrong. Right, Ashley H? I probably don't want to look at the comments and see what her answer is. Okay, so Brady, we're doing a quarterback count on Brady. So we took Daniels in the 5th. I'm okay with that. Kyler Murray in the 14th, which I actually started to take Murray because I picked up Marvin Harrison. Thought about doing the stack there. Oh, then you got Justin Herbert and Jared Goff back to back. That's what you get for going to auto draft. It's crap like that right there. Okay, at least he didn't get stuck with two defenses or two kickers because I've seen that happen too. And then people get all mad. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have went auto draft. Just a little tidbit: if you do any more of these between now and when the season starts, or for next year, because I'm sure everybody will be back next year too. If you need to leave and auto draft the last few rounds or whatever, if you'll put players in the queue that you want to pick, you've got 3 spots left, put 6 players in there. More than likely, at least 3 of them will be there, and it'll take them just like that. If it's not queued up, it's gonna go through the countdown at least the first couple times. Then it'll finally say, "Oh, you really are auto drafting. We'll go ahead and pick players." But that'll speed it up for everybody. And I didn't expect anybody to go auto draft on me, or I would have said that beforehand. But yeah, Brady got Daniels, Murray, Herbert, and Goff. So if anybody needs a quarterback, then Brady's got the quarterback store. No comment, man. See, I gave you a chance to tell everybody how awesome I am. That I don't just make it up and tell everybody at work that you really say that stuff. Was Jeremy getting too big for his britches again, Matt? Did I cover everybody's team? Well, I didn't go through my team. And I know some of y'all were probably sitting there thinking either one, why is he taking 2 of everything every time he drafts? Or you were cussing me because I took somebody you wanted because you thought, oh, well, they'll be there. Surely nobody's going to take 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs every time. So I'm just a big believer, unless you get like the guy, which this year you could argue because there's 3 guys that pretty interchangeable in Bijan, Saquon, and Jameer Gibbs. You don't at least get one of those 3, then you're probably going to need to invest a little bit heavier in running back. Kind of the same thing with wide receivers, even though there's more wide receivers that fit that criteria with, obviously Jefferson, Chase, right up there, Amon-Ra, Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I think A.J. Brown is still that guy, easily a top 10 receiver. So there's just more of them, right? Running backs, stud running backs just aren't as prominent in the league. And the 3 guys we mentioned, they all catch out of the backfield. So there's your, PPR points. Plus they're pretty run heavy in their standard offense. So sorry. So you get outside of that, they kind of all start looking the same. If you take the names off of the sheet and you just look at stats, you'd be amazed. We talked about Chuba Hubbard last night. I mean, I didn't realize he had 1,200 yards rushing last year. Most people didn't. So you strip the names away, you just look at numbers. They're pretty comparable. So if I can't land who I want, then I'm just going to look at either value or I'm going to reach a little bit. I don't care if I have to reach a couple rounds, 2 or 3 rounds. I won't get the guy I want. So I started out Thomas and Neighbors because I just like starting out wide receiver. Both those guys are just dogs, alpha dogs. Both went to LSU, just like Justin Jefferson. So they were brought up in the pro system, ready to go. And both of them showed out as rookies. They're both rookies last year, by the way. This is just year 2 for both of them. Then y'all went on a little bit of a running back run there. So I'm like, crap. So do I take 2 backs? Do I go back receiver? Saw a lot of wide receivers out there I liked. So took the 2 backs. came back around, took 2 more receivers. And then I was stuck with, now what do I do? Because I've got 4 receivers, all of which are, very much heavily featured in their offenses. What's the one position that gets hurt more than anybody? It is running backs. So sorry, I'm having to flip back to the comments. I'm catching up. Yeah, Dalton, he is literally getting too big for his britches. I think he's had to go up a pant size or 2 in the last few months for whatever reason. And my Ashley said, Mama told me if I didn't have anything nice to say. Just, yeah, okay. I see how it is. So anyway, so I started out with the first 6 rounds, I had 4 wide receivers, 2 running backs. Well, I knew coming back around, there wasn't going to be a lot left. So I didn't necessarily want to take back-to-back running backs again, but y'all forced me into it, so I did. Then it came back around again. Y'all went on a wide receiver run, and then some people started drafting kickers. A few tight ends went off the board. So I'm like, okay, y'all going to leave these running backs sitting here. I'm going to take them. So I did. Then I got my quarterback in the 11th round, where I like to take them. 10, anywhere between 10 and 15, depending on what the quarterback runs have looked like. And then this is where I start getting into flyers, I like to say, either rookies or, which Jake Ferguson isn't a flyer nor a rookie, but everybody went and got tight ends early. So I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of sit back and wait, get my guy when I feel like it may be threatened. So I got the Dak, George Pickens, and Jake Ferguson stack. And Ibuka, he's the not as well-known wide receiver from Ohio State the past couple of years. Played in the shadow of Jeremiah Smith and Marvin Harrison. Well, he's a beast. And with Chris Godwin on the shelf, we don't know when he's coming back. That may force Ibuka into the starting lineup. So in the 12th round, I got a number 2 wide receiver that his quarterback threw for 4,500 yards last year, who, oh, by the way, I took in 2 picks later in Baker Mayfield. I normally wouldn't take defense and kicker, but I knew how y'all like to go on runs, and so I got a little scared when the defenses started coming off. Went ahead and grabbed Pittsburgh. Figured I've got everybody else in Dallas. Might as well get Aubrey too. So I will go as the Dallas offense goes to a large degree, and that can be wildly beneficial or it can be devastating. So we'll see. And then I just sort of filled it out with, Travis Etienne at 17 is crazy. And then, insurance policies for Brees Hall and when Christian McCaffrey gets hurt. And then Colston Loveland, tight end out of Chicago, rookie. Going to be a lot of balls flying in Chicago. So hopefully it works out. Do y'all have any questions? Do you have anything you want to say? Tell me I'm an idiot. I mean, anything. Predictions. What player are you most excited about? Anything. Floor is yours. Would y'all just put me down and then go bake cookies, read a book? I'm sure Brady will go back and watch this. But like always, we're not waiting on him. So Brady took Chase, then back-to-back running backs, Achane and Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, Jaden Daniels, stole James Conner from my Ashley. And he stole Mark Andrews a couple picks later. That she was mad about that too. But then he took DK. I'm not sold. Zay Flowers. Scatabo. I'm not saying it's not a great pick, but one, he's hurt right now. Two, he's a rookie. And three, he ain't the starter. In fact, Brady, if you want to just get the facts, Tyrone Tracy, who I picked up in the 9th round right before that, he's going to be the starter. Not to say Scatabo is not going to have a role, but it's going to take Tyrone Tracy getting hurt for Scatabo to see RB1 duties. I don't know what you were smoking when you picked Jerry Duty. Well, maybe I said that right. Maybe it is Jerry Duty. With Jerry Judy, dude, have you seen the quarterbacks in Cleveland? You have 97-year-old Joe Flacco. You have small hands Kenny Pickett. Then you got the two rookies in Dylan Gabriel and some Sanders kid. Probably never heard of him. You better hope one of them figures it out because they and the Saints have the worst quarterback rooms in the league. I mean, it's terrible. So, but thank you for taking him so early so the rest of us could have another decent pick. Then Jawan Jennings, who I think, I love Jennings, Tennessee guy. Also dealing with a calf. Missed a few games last year with it. Then you turn around and get David Njoku to go with said Jerry Judy. Then you get another little pygmy in Kyler Murray, so it's appropriate. Ramadre, we kind of talked about him a little bit. Then you had your nice little quarterback run there of Justin Herbert and Jared Goff, while the rest of us are still taking wide receivers and running backs that actually matter. You'll probably never play one of those guys, maybe two of them. Huh? What? Comments? Man, she's yelling at me on the phone and in the live. Then you finish out with Kansas City and pretty decent kicker. So congratulations. I don't know if Brady realizes anything. I don't know if he's really. I mean, he drafted two pass catchers off Cleveland Browns within a few picks of each other in the middle of the draft. So I highly doubt, Ashley, that he realizes much in just life in general. So I would be expecting him to start shopping quarterbacks and wanting to trade. Don't anybody trade quarterbacks with him. Make him pay for his sins of holding this draft up 30 minutes longer than it should have been. My Ashley says she's gonna. Her goal is to get at least one win. Well, I mean, the bar set pretty low, babe. I mean, Yahoo says you're not going to win any, so I say you go win about 7 or 8 and give them a big old crap burger to eat. Matt, you talking about Barry Sanders? Jason Sanders, the kicker? Not sure what Sanders is going to change the game. Hey, speaking of changing the game, I don't know if everybody's realized this, but Tennessee has officially made the change from Nike to Adidas as its apparel provider, jersey provider, uniform provider, all that good stuff. Nike was paying Tennessee somewhere in the $60 to $80 million range. I think it's probably closer to 60 and then some bonuses or whatever. Adidas is going to pay him $200 million over the course of the contract. And all that money is going to be used for NIL and recruiting. So the game is about to change around here. Oh, Shadur? You're talking about Shadur Sanders is going to change the game? I've been tough on that kid the last couple of years. during his college career because he's been way over hyped. And like most folks, his name and his lineage carries a lot of his weight. I, I hope the kid does well. I don't want to see anybody that's given their entire life, dedicated their entire life to a sport, a craft, whatever it is, and fail. So I hope he does well. But I also hope, excuse me, I also hope he does some growing up in that process. Um, because that's the reason he went in the fifth round and not the first or second round, is how he carries himself, how he acts. I mean, on the field too, but off the field. And, I thought it was great when he and Cam Ward were at like, I don't know if they're throwing for scouts or at the combine, wherever it was. I'm not 100% certain. But Shador was trying to talk to Cam Ward about, hey, man, we should get together and, do like a rap collab or, all this other stuff. And Cam Ward just looked at him. He said, man, I play football. I don't have time for all the other crap. So if Shador can focus on football and focus on Shador and his team instead of all the extracurriculars and building his brand and all this other crap, I mean, my God, his dad's Deion Sanders, rolling in money. I just hope we can put what should be important at the forefront, focus on that, and carve his own path. If he can do that, I'll be a fan. But until then, kiss my ass. I got no use for him. Does anybody want to predict a league winner based on teams we covered? I know it's hard to say, yeah, I think somebody other than me is going to win this league. There's a lot of depth. We did cut down from 10 teams to 8 teams. We usually have 10 in this league. So I think that gave everybody a lot better, depth at, running back, receiver. Those are the two that you try to kind of make sure you've got enough to deal with injury / bye weeks. So hopefully not everybody's scrambling for, God, I got to find a running back because 3 of mine are hurt and 2 more are on IR and I got 1 person that I can play. So, but we know it's going to happen. But I feel like that everybody got some pretty good depth, unless you took a kicker before the 10th round. So I don't know. I don't know how I hadn't looked at it deeply enough yet. Give a prediction. Of course, everybody wants to say, "Yeah, I'm going to win." And speaking of, how much how much change we throwing in the donation jar on this one? 20, 25, something like that again. It's fine with me. Y'all just let me know. I'm gonna have Ashley cover it anyway, so whatever y'all want to do, fine with me. Yeah, agree. Dalton said 20 to 25. We could do $23.64. Well, we got 25 on the other league. I say we do 25 on this one. That way the payout stays the same. Don't have to configure, recalculate. So I'll put it 25, and if anybody just has a huge problem with it, then we can adjust. Matt, I mean, you don't have to embarrass us on here, okay? broadcast to tens of people. You and your big money. If I had your money, I'd burn mine. Matt, you can put in 50. You can cover my 25. I'm okay with it. I think 25 is good. Well, I know y'all probably tired of hearing me, tired of having to wait on Brady as usual. We should place a bet for who we think the winner is. I mean, I know, Matt. We see you waddling back and forth from the porta john and across the parking lot all the time. Mr. Big Shot out here making all the money. Ashley wants to place a bet for who we think the winner's going to be. I mean, I'll bet anything. I'll bet bums fighting in the streets. Well, other than that pygmy Chewbacca messing everything up and holding us up as usual. What's she talking about? Pay for 3 people. All y'all got jobs? Apparently the boys are balling the way I get packages out of the mailbox and off the porch all the time. Starting to think they got more money than I do. Maybe they should be paying for me. I should charge Brady double for a inconvenience fee. Like how some of the businesses will charge you a 3% convenience fee for using a credit card. I should charge him an inconvenience fee for inconveniencing us during this draft. Well, babe, I thought you were sponsoring the league this year. I thought you were covering it. I did buy your lunch today, didn't I? I was telling Ashley about that. Rolling in dough. All right. Well, if we're all good with 25, then we'll do 25. That way, like I said, payouts the same for both leagues. And go ahead and say now it'll be against the rules to win both. Yeah, he did. He wasted very precious time. I could have been on here rambling 15 minutes sooner. But we'll do 25 and then we'll tell Brady it's 40. But anyway, it's always a blast. I love doing the drafts. It's a lot of fun, and this little piece of it's made it even more fun for me because I get on here and do a lot of serious analysis and predictions and betting advice and whatnot, and then I do have kind of the flip side of it where I get on here and roast some opposing fan bases in college football and whatnot. So, but this is always my favorite thing to do is what we're doing right here. So I appreciate you guys a lot for jumping on, supporting it, subscribing to the channel, follow me, whatever it is. I mean, I really do appreciate it. And there's not a better group of people that I'd rather do this with because we have a lot of fun and it's A lot of smack talk throughout the season, but it's all in good spirit. Man. Hey, he got free lunch today, so he's got the money. Don't let him tell you he can't afford it. Yeah, Matt, we're letting you pay 50. We'll let you pay for Alicia too. It doesn't matter that she's not playing. It's in spirit. We want to keep her here in spirit, and that would solidify her spot. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up because my voice is starting to go a little bit, and I'm old, man. Past my bedtime. So, once again, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate your dedication to it, and just look forward to another fun season. Of course, you need anything, holler at me, text me, whatever. See you at work, some of you. And I look forward to my 3-win season. I'll see y'all later on.